It's strange to think, but we're actually nearing the end of the crawl towards Kingdom Hearts 3. We're about as close as it gets with the release of Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, which includes a short game based on the Kingdom Hearts 3 engine known as Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep 0.2 A Fragmentary Passage. This, alongside a short CG movie called Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key back cover, sets the stage for the future of this franchise. But what does this really say about Kingdom Hearts 3? Kingdom Hearts 2.8 also includes an HD port for Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance. Originally released on the 3DS, this is an old game at this point, and if we're lucky, Kingdom Hearts 3 won't be taking many cues from it. But regardless, I won't be talking about it directly. There are two distinct things that appeal to different types of Kingdom Hearts fans: the gameplay and the story. So let's get into the gameplay first with Birth by Sleep 0.2 A Fragmentary Passage. 0.2, to put it simply, is the middle ground between Birth by Sleep and Kingdom Hearts 2. You play as Aqua, the main character of Birth by Sleep, and her overall feel is pretty much the same as in her original game. However, she has a slightly larger pool of basic attacks to pull from, which end up making her feel significantly less stiff to play compared to her original game. That said, she's hampered by a very key problem. Her finishing moves suck. Every single one of them brings her to a complete stop, which makes them feel clunky to use. This makes it difficult to discern how good it will feel to play as Sora when Kingdom Hearts 3 rolls around. But it does raise some concerns. As a whole, your movement is nowhere near as smooth as it was in Kingdom Hearts 2, and this can easily be seen in the trajectories of the aerial moves that Aqua has in 0.2 compared to the moves Sora can use in Kingdom Hearts 2. In Kingdom Hearts 2, Sora can jump and then smoothly transition into an aerial dodge, which has better mobility and invincibility frames. Then he can follow up with a glide. Doing it this way actually causes the glide to accelerate drastically faster compared to using it on its own. This gives these moves a smooth, loose feel. Now compare Aqua in 0.2. After her initial jump, she can go into double flight. It's functionally very similar to aerial dodge, but in practice it's basically just a second jump. However, it cancels her forward momentum, making it more of a vertical move. After this, she can dash forward, but there's a notable time where she can't perform any action. This simultaneously has less utility than in Kingdom Hearts 2 and feels significantly worse. This is a design mentality that permeates across all abilities in Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, where there's a significant disconnect from one ability to the next, making everything feel stilted. No moves can truly flow from one thing to the next. It's worth noting that Kingdom Hearts has two primary development teams. The original team made Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, but then ended up getting tied up in development of Final Fantasy 15 for a decade. The Osaka team stepped in at first to fill in for them, but eventually to replace them. They created Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop Distance, and are currently working on Kingdom Hearts 3. The Osaka team has a lot of bad habits, and 0.2 simultaneously makes me optimistic and concerned in this regard. On one hand, 0.2 in many ways shows that they're learning. For example, Dream Drop Distance had an awful bit of design, where whether or not an enemy would flinch after being hit by an attack was decided at a random chance. In fact, big enemies wouldn't even flinch unless you hit them with a combo finisher, or a similarly heavy attack. This design basically made every basic attack a liability. Unless you were going up against the most basic of enemies, you always ran the risk of an attack not causing an enemy to flinch, allowing them to start their own attack animation while you're in the middle of your own. This incentivized using the game's unique flow motion abilities, which were much more effective attacks but had significantly longer animations, but more on that a bit later. Most enemies in 0.2 don't suffer from this flinching problem. You hit them, they flinch, like in Kingdom Hearts 1 or 2. There's one enemy that can make itself invincible without much of a visual cue, but you're not really punished when it does that, and it's easy enough to deal with. Whether or not that might evolve into a bigger problem in the later game when there's more enemy types remains to be seen. However, it is a problem with the recurring boss of this game, large swarms of the basic Shadow Heartless. These bosses don't react to your hits in any way. You're simply expected to keep attacking it and wait for its eyes to turn red, at which point its animations arbitrarily gain hitboxes and force you to go on the defensive. It's pretty unsatisfying, and it's made worse in the final boss, which is constantly moving, and yet, as I mentioned before, Aqua's finishing moves bring her to a complete stop. My thinking is, since 0.2 is a step in the right direction, by the time we're playing Kingdom Hearts 3 proper, more of these issues will be ironed out, or may not even be issues in the first place due to differences in how Sora and Aqua play. However, what really needs to be addressed is Osaka Team's worst habit: their compulsion to have stylish things that go completely against the gameplay. 0.2 has occasional instances of the worst design from Osaka Team's worst boss fights. For example, incredibly long attack animations that keep going long past the point where you run out of health. The game relying on the fact that you have an ability that keeps you alive during combos like this. Several attacks don't give proper warning, making them much harder to deal with than they should be, and exploiting the weakness of the secret boss is incredibly unintuitive. Pair this with Osaka Team's nerfed variation of aerial recovery that feels more like a liability than anything else, attacks that punish successful guards and counters, and Osaka Team's trademark, bosses with incredibly long attacks that simply involve spamming dodge roll until they're over. Because of all this, I end up feeling like they still have a long way to go. It's not all bad though. 0.2 brings back the MP bar from Kingdom Hearts 2, and with it the ability to use magic freely. You can even smoothly transition from magic attack to physical attack and back again during a combo, though there don't seem to be magic finishers unlike in Kingdom Hearts 2. Aqua has access to the 3 basic schools of Final Fantasy magic: Firaga, Blizzaga, and Thundaga. I honestly found it a bit strange. In Kingdom Hearts 2, each of these spells had a distinct effect that was easy to identify. Firaga created a spinning wall of fire around Sora, hitting enemies from every angle multiple times. Blizzaga was like a shotgun. It went straight ahead and pierced enemies. Thundaga was the most costly magic to use, but it could hit an enemy from anywhere. The 0.2 version of Thundaga is changed to be an area of effect attack, and that works fine, but I can honestly barely tell the difference between Firaga and Blizzaga. Blizzaga has a slightly larger area of effect when it hits, and Firaga has light homing, but they just don't feel different enough to me. But unlike previous games, 0.2's spells have a secondary function. They can inflict status ailments. You can use Firaga to ignite an enemy and gradually drain their HP. Blizzaga freezes enemies, stopping them in their tracks and allowing you to deal extra damage when you hit them. And I honestly don't know what happens when you use Thundaga to jolt an enemy. This adds a nice little bit of impact to your spells, making it really feel like you're impacting the world around you. You can also use Blizzaga to create a temporary trail of ice that you can slide on. It's not very useful, but it's fun. I hope environmental uses for spells show up even more in Kingdom Hearts 3, although on the subject of status ailments, I hope they really go back to the drawing board on how they work against you. A few enemies in 0.2 have a random chance of stunning Aqua. Against normal enemies, this is just annoying. It basically guarantees a free hit. But against a boss, it can literally be a death sentence, which is especially bad because getting stunned is a random chance. I hope that if status ailments have to be in Kingdom Hearts 3, they're more heavily telegraphed, like the Ice Titan's freezing breath in Kingdom Hearts 1. But wait, there's more! 0.2 introduces something they're calling situation commands, which react to how you fight and give you access to new abilities. Using any of the 3 elemental spells enough will give you a supercharged version of that spell, while using basic attacks will give you a temporary style change into Spellweaver, Aqua's signature command style from Birth by Sleep. These power up Aqua's basic attacks, but also give you a finishing move if you land enough hits while in this mode. Apparently this system works differently in Kingdom Hearts 3, but I think it's a smart evolution of the command style system from Birth by Sleep, since unlike in that game you can choose to use them whenever you want, and they encourage some light strategic thinking. For example, want to clear a big group of enemies? Start spamming Thundaga, because the finisher version, Thundaga, is a screen nuke. But if you're up against a boss, you might want to style change into Spellweaver, since that'll let you do a lot more damage to a single target. What's great about this though is that none of these options are invalid, they all deal a lot of damage. The system is a bit limited in 0.2, but the evolved form in Kingdom Hearts 3 could be great. Though I hope this isn't how Sora uses his drive forms. So, I've got a lot of concerns about Kingdom Hearts 3's gameplay, but you know what surprised me? After this experience, I'm not worried about the story. Kingdom Hearts has no shortage of hokey and outright bad writing throughout its history.
The friendship between boys. It almost makes me jealous.
That was undeniable proof that we totally owned you, lamers.
Master Ericus.
Cloud, you can have my light.
The light doesn't suit you.
I just don't know. No! Shion! Who else will I have ice cream with?
But the cutscenes in 0.2 and the story of Back Cover impressed me in a way I didn't think Kingdom Hearts could. To put it plainly, it's just better. 0.2 improved on Aqua, making her a bit more sympathetic. You get little moments like her calling out to friends that aren't there and chastising herself for it. Similarly, Terra, one of the other playable characters from Birth by Sleep, has taken to a level of coolness that he just plain didn't have in Birth by Sleep. The voice acting and direction is noticeably better from the previous game as well. But that's just taking weak parts from previous games and improving on them. The relatively good parts like Sora and Riku, which we only briefly see in this game, are really well executed and pretty charming. Conversations just feel more natural and well directed in this game compared to any previous one.
I tried too hard to be the role model. It's more fun to just listen to my heart. Which is Sora-esque.
It's a trend I hope carries all the way through Kingdom Hearts 3. And there's a reason why I think it will, and that's called Back Cover, the CG movie included in this collection. In this 1-hour movie, they introduced 7 characters and managed to make me interested in all of them. This is a major breakthrough for Kingdom Hearts, which is often mired in shallow characters and paper-thin motivations, or outright nonsensical motivations. This short story tells the tale of 5 people growing to mistrust each other, while one person kinda pulls the strings? And it manages to make every character's actions make sense from their perspective, which is difficult to accomplish in a story like this, where characters need to look unreasonable from another character's perspective in order to justify their own actions. Each character is fairly well acted, and they all avoid the trap of becoming cartoon caricatures. That on its own is pretty good by Kingdom Hearts standards, but then you throw in the most intriguing character in series history, the so-called Master of Masters, as well as his apprentice. They introduce a new mystery to the series that I am genuinely interested in seeing solved. They also managed to touch on time travel, a concept for the most part introduced in Dream Drop Distance, and somehow managed to make it not awful.
You need to pass down that Keyblade to your apprentice and then him to his, so that my eye can see the future.
So the Book of Prophecies.
Bingo! The fact that it exists is proof of your success. That means you've trained a worthy apprentice, passed down that handsome Keyblade, and fulfilled your role. Congratulations!
But more than any of that, the Master of Masters is just a joy to watch. He's aloof and silly, a goofy character that still somehow manages to get across the fact that he's powerful and important. The fact that in an interview, Kingdom Hearts boss Tetsuya Nomura said that he couldn't imagine a character like the Master of Masters being written any other way fills me with some hope that he has an understanding of how to make characters intriguing and fun to watch. Also, by watching the epilogue to this game, Kingdom Hearts 2.9, I realized they've done something pretty smart in creating these spin-off games, in that any person who decided not to play every single Kingdom Hearts game, maybe people who stopped after Kingdom Hearts 2, they'll know just about as much as Sora does. He doesn't know what happened in any of the spin-off games. He still doesn't even know what happened in Chain of Memories, and that happened before Kingdom Hearts 2. The last game he was playable in, Dream Drop Distance, he fell asleep for the most important part. For that matter, Kingdom Hearts 2 ends with a message in a bottle, and what that letter said was revealed in one of the spin-off games, but Dream Drop Distance ends with an identical bottle, and we still don't know what that one says. So in theory, people going from Kingdom Hearts 2 to Kingdom Hearts 3 could be led to believe that that's the same bottle. Because of all this stuff, and I might regret saying this, but I'm starting to feel like they might actually pull this mess of a plot together in the end. And I didn't think that was possible.